All praises, all praises, all praises to the heavenly, holy, almighty creator of infinity, eternity, the universe, the stars, the earth, the mountains, the oceans, the valleys, the seas, the clouds, all creeping things, humanity, and all there is. This is Revelations.Unveiled. Detroit. Hello, family. We are back together again, where we are at the threshold of transition, where we are surrendering our carnal commonality to expose our cranial universes to bear forth our souls so that we may be in tune with the heavenly holy frequency of the cosmic information of the creator of all imagination. All praises, and to the 12 tribes of the house of Israel scattered abroad, wherever you may sojourn on planet Earth, my continuous petition and prayer for your care and safety. I love you. And to my brothers and sisters of the world, the pending Israelites, those who refer to themselves as the melanated and Moors, the original man and children of God, the sovereigns and sojourners, the copper-colored, the colored, and people of color, the aboriginals and indigenous, the natives, Negroes, and niggas, the African Americans and blacks, the descendants of slaves, and those conquered and colonized. Oh yes, and we are blessed where we can congregate and aggregate and conjugate and convocate, where we are here at the Revelations.Unveiled Detroit Den, where we shall begin our review of the beginning all the way to the end, the Alpha and Omega, as we deliberate and contemplate and mentally marinate on the constructions and instructions of the building of the universe. All praises, and as we converge, we offer our love to our fellow beings as we stare into the eternities of their souls in the greatest of care, compassion, comfort, concern, as we are here in safety and in love, so that we may receive the enlightening from above. Yes, and tonight, family, we will be continuing in our review of the Judean diaspora, what the world calls the African diaspora, or the slave trade. And tonight we will be continuing our review from our respected brother, Dr. Rudolph R. Windsor's book, From Babylon to Timbuktu, under the theme, the Hebrews, Muslims, and Moors. And family, yes, we are dining on the divine and sipping at the wine as we continue to repair the road and the potholes of the ignorance that was bestowed upon us as a curse of our captivity, as we are bumbling along in the land of Babylon, what we call Egypt, Sodom, the United States of America, and we are bridging the gaps from our expulsion from our homeland of Jerusalem in 70 AD under the Roman occupation, the mutilation, and the genocide of the Judean population, which consisted of the king tribe of Judah, the priest tribe of Levi, and the tribe of Benjamin, the Judeans. And as they were fleeing the Roman genocide and slavery, they filtered down through the interiors of the land of Ham, what the world today calls the continent of Africa, down the eastern seaboard through Ethiopia and Sudan and Uganda, down all the way into the southern parts of South Africa, as well as the northern migration through Egypt and Libya and Tunisia and Morocco and Algeria and all of the northern parts of the land of Ham, as well as the central and the western parts of Africa. So as we continue to blow away the smoke and the ignorance of our pre-slave history, we are starting to understand that on the continent of Africa lives two distinct peoples, the Hebrews, who were fleeing Roman persecution and oppression, and the native African tribes, and the intermingling and intermarriages of these two peoples, and the developments of the various empires and colonies and kingdoms within the boundaries of the independent 54 states of the African continent. And we shall begin our continuous review at the Revelations.Unveiled Detroit channel standards in the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 6. For I am the Lord, I change not. Therefore you sons of Jacob are not consumed. Followed by our second heavenly eternal standard in the book of Hebrews, chapter 13, verse 8, in reference to the holy anointed Messiah, the wonderful, the Redeemer, the Savior, the King of Israel, whom the world refers to as Jesus Christ, the same yesterday and today and forever. All praises, family. And as we are in a wonderful, soft place in the space, and we have the hands of our neighbor clenched and we have our heads bowed, we will become quiet and still as we continue our review on the diaspora of the Judeans, the true Hebrews, the Israelites, as we are now continuing with the Hebrews, Muslims, and Moors. And we began. The Phoenicians established their metropolis, Carthage, in the 9th century BC. Eventually, they conquered the neighboring tribes from Libya to the Atlantic Ocean, disseminating their Hebrew Phoenician language and culture in every direction. The Hebrew Phoenician language and culture were invigorated and strengthened by the deportation and migration of energetic black Hebrews from Palestine. Ptolemy Soter of Egypt conquered Syria and Phoenicia, deporting more than 100,000 Hebrews. The Persian king Cambyses had previously sanctioned the colonization of Hebrews in Egypt. During the wars of the Maccabees, thousands of Hebrews became slaves and exiles. Ptolemy Lathyrus captured 10,000 slaves from the region of the Sea of Galilee. The kings of Egypt, Psamtik I and Psamtik II, used Israelite garrisons on the Egyptian borders near Libya. The wars with Rome compelled hundreds of thousands more to escape into North Africa. During the Punic Wars and after, North Africa contained a large Hebrew population. This Hebrew population made converts and intermarried with the Canaanites and native Africans. The population of Carthage was derived from Palestine, and its civilizations were Hebraic in origin. Slouch, author, is certain after much research that the language Hannibal spoke and in which he directed his troops was Hebrew. There's evidence that the Carthaginians possessed a high priesthood, and their ceremonies and sacrifices were similar to the rituals found in the book of Leviticus. According to some of the inscriptions, the Hebrew tribes of Asher and Zebulun were in Carthage from the foundation of the city. At the ruins of Carthage, there were excavated many inscriptions containing many Hebrew names such as Joab, Joash, and Joel. The city of Tunis is said to be neither Arab nor European. Tunis is a Judean city. Nowhere else does the Jew feel at home as he does in Tunis. Slouch, author, says so beautifully, and indeed, Tunis, the inheritor of Hebrew Carthage, is the eternal city of the Jew. For like the phoenix, the Judeans have risen again and again out of the ashes of their destruction. After the sacking of Carthage, the Judeans found in Carthage under Roman domination after the Byzantine persecution. They fled into the desert, and even under the persecution of the Arabs, the Jews somehow managed to survive catastrophe after catastrophe. The Moorish Empire. In less than 100 years, the Black Arabs had pushed their way completely across North Africa in the 7th century. At this time, the Arabs were black. They had not mixed much with other people. The Arabs did penetrate into the interior of the Sahara Desert, but only in small numbers, so that the territory remained basically African. Moulay Idris, the descendant of Ali, the son-in-law of Mohammed, brought northern Morocco under his control late in the 7th century. His son and successor was Idris II, who founded the Kingdom of Fez. At this time, in the land of Spain, the Black Jews were persecuted, and many had fled to Morocco for refuge. As a result of this persecution, the Jews of Morocco and the Moors planned to invade Spain with the assistance of Spanish Jews. In the meantime, the plot was uncovered, and the Jews of Spain suffered for their intentions. Early in the 8th century, the Mohammedans from Morocco, united with the Black Jews, made what was called an amphibious landing at Gibraltar. This invasion was successful. Nahon Schlauss says that the first one to set foot on the soil of Spain was General Tarif, a Jew of the tribe of Simeon, after whom the Isle of Tarifa, opposite Tangiers, was named. However, the Rock of Gibraltar, previously known as the Pillars of Hercules, received its new name from the great Moorish conqueror, Jebel al-Tariq, which means the mountain of Tariq. The Arabs and Moors were known not only for their handicraft, but also for their science. Most of the knowledge of ancient Greece and the Near East was unknown in Europe during the medieval period. The Arabs had come into close relationship with Greek and Persian culture. The Arabs did not destroy this culture. Instead, they brought it to North Africa. There were many famous Moorish and Hebrew scholars in southern Spain. The Black Jews, like the Arabs and the Moors, made a great contribution not only to Afro-Asian civilization, but also to the European. The Jews in the East knew Greek and Syriac. They helped translate the works of the Greek philosophers into Arabic. In turn, these works were studied by the Arab-speaking Jews of North Africa and Spain and translated into Hebrew. The Black Jews of the Moorish Kingdom of Spain translated these works into the Latin language, and from Spain, the science of the Greeks and the Afro-Asian people were translated to Western Europe. The Arabs and Moors were known not only for their handicraft, but their science. It was AD 1492, January 2nd, when the Moorish stronghold of Granada surrendered to the armies of the King of Ferdinand and Queen Isabella. For the first time since the year 711, all of Spain was in Christian hands. The decree to expel the Jews from Spain was signed on March 31st in one of the corridors of the great Alhambra, the palace of the Moorish kings of Granada. The reason given for the expulsion of the Jews is that it was thought they corrupted the Marranos, Jews who converted to Christianity, by privately encouraging them to be disloyal to Christianity. The ultimatum given to the Jews expired August 1st, 1492. But the last group of Jews did not leave until August 2nd, 1492. This date is of strange coincidence. That day was the 9th of Ab, the fast, which is reminiscent of the destruction of the first and second temples. Professor Alan H. Godbey says that the reigns of the last Judean king of Ghana terminated in 1492. In order to satisfy Queen Isabella of Spain, King Manoc of Portugal promulgated a royal decree expelling the Jews and Moors from his country in 1496. The Jews were expelled from Spain and Portugal and were scattered throughout the Mediterranean coast. It is estimated that over 100,000 Judeans departed from Spain and Portugal during the persecution and the expulsion. Some of these Jews went to Northern Europe, Italy, and Turkey, but most of them went to Muslim countries of Northern and Western Africa. These black Jews would naturally go to African countries, most of all because of less persecution, and they could disguise themselves easily amongst the other blacks. M. Claus, author, gives a graphic description of the Portuguese Jew, Baruch Spinoza. Middle-sized, good features, skin somewhat black, black curly hair, long eyebrows of the same color, so that one might know by his looks that he was a descendant of the Portuguese Jew. When the Jews were expelled from Spain, about 100,000 entered Portugal. They were permitted to enter under the condition that they pay the poll tax, with an understanding that they would leave the country within 8 months. Also at this time, the king obligated himself to take the Jews wherever they desired at the termination of the 8th month. When the time expired, many Jews were stranded because the king did not provide enough ships in time. All the black Jews who were left behind were deprived of their freedom and sold into slavery. All right, family. That was another major chunk that we have bit off, and now we are going to spiritually digest as it infests and cause a paradigm shift to manifest. We are the 12 tribes of Israel. We fled into the interiors of Africa and into the upper portions of the European peninsula. We ruled. We established kingdoms and empires. We influenced civilization. So the black Arabs, in their conquest across northern Africa, came into contact with the native Africans and the black Jews and caused conversions. And they made alliances on the invasions of the European peninsula and became known as the Moors. So within the medieval, the Byzantine periods or empires, or what they like to refer to as the Dark Ages, There were black Arab and black Hebrew Israelites ruling throughout Europe and Africa. And then there was the expulsion and persecution of the Jews and the continuous warfare between the native Africans and the Mohammedan Islamic invasion, causing captivity and conversion. And so, family, we now can start to reach to the prophecies of Leviticus 26 and Deuteronomy 28 and understand when it says, we shall be scattered amongst all the people from one end of the earth unto the other, and we shall worship strange gods of wood and stone, and we will be brought back into Egypt, captivity again with ships. And wherever those ships landed, we would be sold to our enemies for slave man and slave woman. And no man would redeem us but the holy anointed Messiah. So, family, we shall continue with our review of the hidden holy history of the descendants of slaves and those conquered and colonized. We are the children of the covenant. We are the people of the book. Lord willing, we shall return in love and in enlightenment to increase and elevate and escalate and elevate into our true identity, heritage, understanding, and power. All the praises. And until we are together again, I love you. I love you. I love you. This is Revelations.Unveiled. Detroit. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verses 6 through 9. For we are a holy people unto the Lord our God. The Lord our God has chosen us to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. The Lord did not set his love upon us, nor choose us because we were more in number than any people, for we were the fewest of all people. But because the Lord loved us, and because he would keep the oath which he had sworn to our fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, has the Lord brought us out with a mighty hand and redeemed us out of the house of bondmen from the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Verse 9. Know therefore that the Lord our God, he is God, the faithful God, which keeps covenant and mercy with them that love him and keep his commandments to 1,000 generations. The book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 27. And you shall know that I am in the midst of Israel, and that I am the Lord your God, and none else, and my people shall never be ashamed.